Hey guys, Smith here from Minute Maintenance coming at you. Today we're going to be working on the 2013 Ford F-150. We're having some backup camera related issues. Got to be safe, got to see what's going on behind you, kids, vehicles, whatever. Let's see if we can get this camera figured out and get some maintenance done. Alright guys, here we are inside the cab of the truck. So again, this is the 2013 Ford F-150 FTX by Tuscany. It's got the Lariat setup. Tuscany is an aftermarket company and they do a whole bunch of awesome stuff, like put the Raptor engine in this and all the nice body paneling. Now, if you look over here, on my doubled-in radio, you see I have the Ford standard OEM sync radio setup. But the issue I'm having is when I put it into reverse, the backup camera will either be super fuzzy or it'll just be black and say, hey, it's not working, contact your dealer. So here we go. So I'm going to put the shifter in reverse, see what she says right now. Now it's just black. So right now I should be seeing behind me. I have clear view. So first thing to do when you're not able to see out of your backup camera, go to the back and make sure it's clean. I already did that. I already wiped everything off. Now I have a message that says camera is unavailable. Please contact your dealership. Okay, now it goes back to the home screen. Now we're back in park. So that's a bit of an issue. This is a bigger pickup truck, guys. It has a backup camera. It's nice to be able to use the backup camera, not just for trailers, not just for towing, but because there's children. I have kids. The neighbors have kids. I don't want to accidentally, now that it's summertime, it's nice out, put it in reverse, start backing into the street, hit a child, hit a vehicle, hit a homeless guy. I don't want to hit anything. I don't want to damage my truck whatsoever by hitting something. So that's the main area of concern. Let's go ahead and hop back there because, again, if you look at the screen, it's trying to receive a signal. It's trying to receive a signal, and then it pops up and says that it can't. So that leads me to believe that it might actually be a camera-related issue in the back, or possibly a connection-related issue behind the sync itself, or with the actual head unit itself. I know these sync 1, 2, and 3 radios, they tend to go out. The Bluetooth tends to start having issues. The whole thing starts to throw a fit on. It's about $400 or $500 to get this thing fixed. But first thing I'm going to do, make sure my camera's clean. I already did that, but I'm also going to hop back there and make sure all my connections are tight. So stick with me. Let's drop that tailgate. All right, guys, now here we are at the back of the truck. Now, again, the first thing you want to do of always, guys, is you want to go ahead and find your backup camera. Sometimes it's located by the license plate. On mine, it's located right here underneath, and there's some dust on that, but that's fairly clean. Now, the actual camera is wired up through the tailgate itself here, so what we're going to have to do is drop the tailgate and open up the panel on the back. So let's go ahead and pull this down, and as you can see, this panel here has all of these Torx head style bolts. There are about 13 of them all the way through. So what we're going to have to do is remove those bolts so we can remove this panel and see what the heck is going on back here with all the wiring. And I got my Torx bit set up. As you can see, it's just a multi-bladed, multi-pointed, almost like a star-looking bit. I'm not quite sure the exact size. Let's go and went through my Torx bit collection until I found one that fit. And then I used a 1/4 socket to attach to the end so I can attach my socket wrench. Then we'll finish it off by hand. Then I'm going to go through and do every single one of them. There's about 13 of them. And then we'll get that panel off. Now guys, now we got all the bolts removed. Next thing you're going to have to do is, if your truck happens to have one of these tailgate assists, here's an actual handlebar. Pull this lever up and it comes up. Oy. That way it helps you, give you a nice solid holding for when you're actually trying to climb in the back of the truck. If you have one of those, you want to put it in the upright position, and then the whole panel itself just slides up and out of the way. There we go. So work your angles, get it off, and now we have access to the internals here, and the wiring for our backup camera should be right in front of us. Alright guys, so this is the worst design than I thought it was going to be. So what you have to do is, see if I can get the camera in there. I'm going to switch the orientation here. Hopefully this doesn't mess with your viewing too much. Right down in there. You see that? That's my electrical connector. Right there where my finger's pointing is a black tab. Right there that you have to push in and pull out. So I had to get one hand in through this slot, another hand in through that slot, so that I could push that tab in and pull it out. Now, looking at this connector, She doesn't look too badly worn, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ourselves some electrical spray. We're gonna spray it out anyway, just to make sure that there isn't any junk in there, and hopefully that will be the remedy to our issue. And what I have here in front of me is some electronic cleaner. This is a special formula that you use to clean, as you can see here, all sorts of different plugs and electronics. It dries out on its own. It just takes a couple minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and get a good squirt inside there, inside the actual connector, as well as the part of the camera that it connects into itself. And so we're gonna hold this connector. So go ahead and give it a spritz. Pull out all that junk right back in there. The actual camera connector is too. Spray all that junk out. Now we'll just sit and let it air dry for a while. All right, now I sat and I let it, excuse me, air dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I went ahead and just reinstalled it. No need to push that tab anymore. Just go ahead and stick it back in there. And again, I have to put one hand in through this slot and one hand in through this slot over here, so I can work it on there. And just make sure you got a nice secure connection. Wiggle it around, give it a little bit of tug, make sure everything's nice and taut, nice and tight. Flip my hand around so I can get some better forward push down with my fingers. Now let's go ahead and close the tailgate. And let's go take a peek. Let's see if we have our camera activating again. So the issue with that right there, guys, is it's not very well weather sealed. That tailgate actually isn't very well weather sealed. That paneling on there, as you saw when you took that off, there wasn't any like insulation. There wasn't any like seal around there. So when you get in a car wash, when it's raining, when it's just standard snow or weather, moisture can actually permeate through the sides there because there's no seal. And you saw how much dust was down there. I mean, look at my hands. You can see how dusty and dirty my hands are. So if dust and dirt can get down in there, moisture can get down in there, and that can cause electrical connections to become a little janky, a little wonky. Sometimes you just got to spray it out, give it a good cleaning. Now thankfully there wasn't much corrosion in there. Sometimes you'll get like that greenish teal corrosion that you get around electrical components. And again, you can use the same spray there, spray that, and then try to take a Q-tip or a wire brush if possible. Obviously it would have been a little difficult given the space we had to work with, but that's just part of life, guys. Sometimes you just got to make things work. So now we have our radio warmed up. Let's go ahead and shift this in reverse and see what happens now. And now we have backup camera, guys. There you go. So that was the problem. The problem was that connection wasn't very strong. The connection might have had some dust, debris, moisture in there, sprayed it out, and now everything's functioning just the way it is. It's back up. There we go. Put it back in drive, move forward. You know, I went back up again, put it back in reverse, and now I have my camera. Perfect, beautiful, just like we want to see. Let's go put that panel back together. There we go, guys. And now the install of the paneling is the exact opposite. Just slip it, the bar over top of that hole there. Shimmy around, get the right angle. Shimmy, Jimmy, shimmy. Let's see. Bada bing. Bada boom. Line her back up. Then we go through and we reinstall all 13 of these bolts. All right, guys, now the panel put it back together. Let's go ahead and take this and drop it back down. Now I want to show you guys something else here real quick. You see this wiring harness down here? Now this is actually the wiring harness that comes up and connects into the camera. So if you follow that underneath, stay with me, guys. I'm just gonna crawl underneath the truck here real quick. If you look up, you see that wiring harness. Get the camera to focus up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Wiring harness comes out right up here, comes through right up here, and actually connects right here. Now I pulled this off. This is actually, see where that white tab is? It's actually normally sticking right up there, but I pulled it off because I wanted you guys to see. This is actually your main body connector right here, and this connects to the main wiring harness that actually goes up towards the radio itself. Now you can see how heavy duty this plug is. It's got some extra rubbery seal over here. This is made for the weather. This is exposed well more readily than the one in the tailgate, but this one still can be causing issues as well. So if opening up the paneling on the tailgate and cleaning that plug didn't fix your issue, next thing I would do is I'd come down here, I'd check this one, I'd make sure that everything's fully connected. I'd take a look around. Are there any burnt wires? Are there any broken wires over here? Heck, I'd go ahead and give a nice spritz on the outside just to make sure with that electrical stuff, and maybe just wipe it off with a brush. But we solved our issue, but this is another another spot you guys might want to look at. All right, guys, and there you go. And in a couple of minutes, we were able to open up our back tailgate, and we were able to disconnect the backup camera and clean out the plug. And that's gonna be your issue most of the time. If the camera itself isn't clean, again, give that look first. If you're just feeling like you just can't see very well, that you don't have any vision at all, go ahead and clean off the camera area itself. And then if that doesn't help solve your problems, sometimes you're gonna have to open up the back tailgate or the hatch, excuse me, wherever your plug's actually connected on your particular vehicle, and give that a good cleaning. Look it over. Is there any corrosion buildup in there? Is there a wire broken? Give that a look. We had a little small space for us to work on. The big hands don't help either, but obviously, if I can do it with these giant Gorilla Mitts, there's no reason you guys can't do it as well. Just take your time, work your angles, get in there, go slow. You don't want to cause any damage, make things worse than it really is. Just give it a quick little spritz with that electrical cleaner, let it air dry, put everything back together, and now we got full access to the backup camera. And backup cameras are very useful, they're very important. Great invention, should have came out a long time ago. Allows you to keep children safe, allows you to keep your vehicle safe, allows you to not back into traffic or back out of a parking spot and cause any damage to your vehicle if somebody else's. So it's good to have that on this big honking truck. I definitely want to make sure my backup camera is working. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you have any comments, questions, drop those below. If you guys have any other issues on vehicles that you guys are working on, please drop us a line. We'll try to get those answered for you. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, guys, find a minute out of your own day to do some maintenance.